What is up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Welcome back to another ability analysis, ability comparison, if you will. This was a highly requested one for the past couple months, and I want to start doing these ability videos again because they're a lot of fun to make. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the different super ultra balls that the superhero has. It's a really fast projectile, and they're really good ability. We're going to do an analysis on all of them, which one you should use, some facts about them all. And yeah, let's get started with the regular super ultra ball. So every single ultra ball has a cooldown of 16 seconds, so they recharge really fast, meaning you often have access to this really powerful, long range, strong damage dealing tool. The regular ultra ball does 120 damage. Whenever you use the ultra ball, you'll be stuck in the air for a little bit, so this can actually be kind of useful if there's a chomper on the ground trying to burrow you, or if you just don't have any heroic kicks. Ultra balls have a really fast speed at 100 meters a second, so it makes it a great option from both close and long range, and doing 120 damage per impact. But something that is kind of useful is if someone tries to run away from you and you don't have any heroic kicks, let's say someone is hiding behind a corner, you can utilize this weapon's splash to actually get a couple of kills. So it is pretty useful. That the ultra ball can kill in one shot are sunflowers besides metal petal, roses, agent P, and that's it. I might forget a couple, but that's relatively all the characters. So any character that has more than 120 health, unfortunately you cannot one shot with ultra ball. But a good strat for the pea shooter is if you hit someone with a direct shot from far away, you could simply just use your beam and you'll just kill them, because the beam, it'll do at least 5 damage from range. So I'd highly recommend doing that if you hit an ultra ball from range against a pea shooter or a class with 125 health. Overall, I think the regular ultra ball is by far the best ultra ball to use due to its fast projectile speed, great damage output, good splash damage, and consistent damage output. Let's look at the next ultra ball, which is the super multi-ball. This can be obtained through buying the Garden Warfare 2 Deluxe Edition. So if you have the Deluxe Edition, you'll luckily have the multi-ball. The multi-ball is different from the regular ultra ball because each ball does 60 damage, totaling at 180 damage if you hit all 3 of them, but that's if you hit all 3. As you guys can see, these things kind of go all over the place, so from range, they really do not do that much damage. But up close, they really are not that bad, and they also stall you in the air for a lot longer than the regular one. I still think they're a downgrade due to their consistency at range. I'll show you guys right now. They kind of spread apart very strangely at range. So let's say I'm aiming for this tombstone right here. The balls will just kind of not go in a straight line, as you can see. So that's a big issue with the ability, and it's kind of unpredictable because that's just the way the projectile works, not so really what the player can control. So I do think these are overall a downgrade. Something that is cool is that since you're shooting out more, you actually are in the air for a little bit longer than the regular ultra ball. But this is not a bad ability at all. It's just very outclassed by the regular ultra ball. But if you were able to consistently hit all 3, this is by far the best one. But since the ability has an issue with accuracy, it isn't the best one. But if it was consistent, it would by far be the best ultra ball. But once again, it kind of has accuracy issues, and they just kind of spread apart after a while. As you guys can see, they don't really go in a straight line. So not a bad ability. I do want to mention on Toxic Brains, like, people really like using multi-ball. I could see why. It stacks very well with that character as he gets a damage buff with it, and each one does a lot of damage. But I do think when you're outside of overload, having the regular ultra ball is much better, and the regular ultra ball when you have overload is also really good. But I do recommend, if you like multi-ball, use it. But I think regular ultra ball is by far the better option. I want to show you guys an interesting tech before we move on to the next ultra ball with Cosmic Brains and Breakfast Brains. As you're charging, if you press the ultra ball button, you can actually move around while you use the ultra ball. It could actually be surprisingly useful. If you zoom in right as you use the ultra ball, you can also zoom in while you shoot up the ultra ball, and that can come in handy sometimes if someone's a little bit further away. So all you gotta do is use the ultra ball, and then immediately after you press the button, you zoom in. Pretty cool. Final Ultra Ball is the Super Guided Ultra Ball, which can be purchased from Rupp. This one has 150 damage, and it has homing. Let's look a little bit more into it. So I think the Super Guided Ultra Ball is actually kind of underrated. It's not the best one, but it is perfectly usable, as I think all three of these abilities are actually not that bad. But I think the regular Ultra Ball has a pretty big advantage over all the other ones. But the Super Guided Ultra Ball, I think, works really well on Breakfast Brains in particular, because you're going to be up close in people's faces, and he kind of sucks, so having an extra bit of pressure whenever you're going up to people, I think is really nice. And of course, this Ultra Ball actually does more damage than the regular one at 150 opposed to 120, meaning this ability can one-shot Corns without health upgrade, one-shot Pea Shooters, one-shot some of the Chompers like Twilight Chomper. So anything that has 150 health, this thing will one-shot, and it's a guaranteed kill. So it's really, really, really useful. Does the same amount of damage as the Imp Hunt or the Long Bomb. I want to mention that you can do this tech with the Guided Ultra Ball as well, with Breakfast Brains. As you're charging up your weapon, you can move around while you do it, and that could actually be really useful with the Guided Ultra Ball in particular. So I'd highly recommend doing that if you don't know about it. But the Guided Ultra Ball, it's not a bad ability, but I do think it is worse than the regular Ultra Ball. But if you like it on Breakfast Brains in particular and some of the other ones, use it, because it does a lot of damage. And all you gotta do is just, whenever you use it, the reticle will turn red. So whatever it's homing on. Fun fact, these cannons actually have homing for whatever reason. But yeah, so use the Ultra Ball and just match up the red line with what the plant you want to hit, and then it'll home right to them. Works very similar to the roses. But yeah, so I highly recommend checking out all three of these abilities and seeing which one you like the best. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching my video. If you guys haven't already, I made a Let's Play on Donkey Kong Country, and I worked pretty hard on the video, and if you guys want to check it out, be sure to do so. Leave a comment if you enjoyed watching that video on that video. But I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me talk about the Hadouken, I guess you could say, Street Fighter. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what abilities you guys would like me to talk about next. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.